Dark Shadows, number 71, VTR 9, 2666, air 10366, take one.
My name is Victoria Winters. The morning mist has formed a lace curtain around Collinwood, almost like the haze that surrounds the ghosts which live within its walls. Ghosts which haunt a family that lives with fear.
Good morning. Is the sheriff in yet? I'd like to speak to him, please. This is Roger Collins. Well, good morning, Sheriff. You're quite an early bird.
Well, have to be these days to keep up with all that's going on in this town. What can I do for you, Mr. Collins?
Well, I thought I might catch you before I went to my office. I was wondering when you expected to complete your investigation.
Well, it's a funny thing, Mr. Collins. I've just been sitting here looking at all the papers on my desk, wondering exactly the same thing. I don't think Bill Malloy had half as many words written about him when he was alive.
Well, then you are working on a report for the coroner.
Yes, I'm getting it ready to wrap up in a nice red ribbon and drop in his lap.
Well, when do you think it'll be decided?
Well, I won't be through with this until about 11, and then I've still got to get it over to him.
Well, it shouldn't take him long to decide that Bill's death was accidental, that he simply fell in the water and drowned.
Well, if that's the answer, probably not, but there are other possibilities, you know. Suicide, maybe.
You think that'll be the decision?
No, I doubt it. In my mind, it'll be either accident or homicide, by person or persons as yet unknown. If it's accident, of course, the case will be dropped, but if it's the other, well, then you and I will be talking to each other about it again.
Well, when do you expect to know?
I'll stop worrying, Mr. Collins. You'll get the answer soon enough.
Well, I'm not worried. Malloy was our plant manager. It's a matter of interest to me.
I'm sure it is. Well, if I ever get back to this report, we should find out which way we're going to go sometime today. Is that soon enough for you?
Hello, this is Roger Collins. I'd like to speak to the sheriff again. Well, will you tell him that I have some additional... Well, never mind. Forget it. Ah, good morning, Vicky. You've just saved me several unnecessary steps.
Well, good for me.
I was on my way upstairs to find you.
Complaints so early in the morning?
Well, of course. A dozen. How could we start our day without our battles?
Much more pleasantly than usual, Mr. Collins.
Now, you see, you've already forgotten to call me Roger.
I'm sorry, Roger. What was it you wanted to see me about?
Oh, I was just wondering how you've been getting along with David. We had a talk about you yesterday, you know.
Well, I think he's trusting me a little bit more. He's even willing to introduce me to his friends.
Friends? I didn't know he had any.
Ghosts. He took me to the old house last night to have me meet them. That's a scary place.
Yes, and it's a good place to stay away from. Well, did you meet any ghosts?
No, but I dreamt about them all night long. I must have wakened up 20 times thinking there was something in my room.
What you need is a change. An excursion away from all of our gloom.
Well, I'm afraid David's lessons start at 9 o'clock.
No. You've never seen our cannery, have you?
I haven't had time.
Well, today I'm going to conduct you myself on a personal tour.
What about David?
Well, let's be extravagant and give him the day off.
Well, that sounds marvelous, but I don't think Mrs. Stoddard would approve.
Well, I'll telephone her from the office and tell her that I have spirited you away. And don't you worry. Any blame will fall on my well-accustomed shoulders.
In that case, I'll do it.
Good girl. And to celebrate your holiday, I'll buy you breakfast at the hotel cafe. Orange juice, pancakes, bacon and eggs, toast, muffins, milk, coffee, anything else you want.
All I want is just 2 minutes.
Right. Oh, Vicky, after breakfast, there may be one stop I have to make, but you won't mind, will you?
You're the excursion director. 2 minutes.
Morning, Sheriff.
Well, doesn't anybody sleep late in this town? What do you want, Burke?
I thought I might buy you breakfast.
I've had my breakfast.
Oh, you shouldn't eat and work at the same time. It's bad for your digestion.
So are interruptions when I'm trying to get something done.
That the report for the coroner?
What do you want, Burke?
Cup of coffee? If you got another one brewing?
Go to the hotel restaurant. I'm the worst cook in the world. My coffee would make you sick.
Then we'll just skip it, huh? We'll talk about those papers, huh? You have finished your investigation, haven't you?
Yep.
Well, how do things add up to you?
I knew I'd be sorry if I let you sit down.
Sheriff. Now, you've talked to a lot of people about Bill Malloy's death. How does it look to you?
I'll get you the coffee.
I thought you said it might make me sick.
Well, maybe that's exactly what I want to do.
You're right, it's lousy.
Yeah, just like my mood.
Okay. When do you expect the coroner's finding?
Well, sometime today.
How do you think it'll go? Well, you must have some idea. It's your report he'll be reading.
Well, what's your guess?
I think it depends on how much weight the Collins family carry.
Well, they own the biggest house. They own the biggest fishing fleet. They own the cannery. But they don't own me. And they don't own the coroner.
I'd like to believe that.
Well, you better believe it. Burke, no matter how this finding goes, it's going to be an honest decision. And I don't want any trouble from you.
Are you expecting a finding of accidental death by drowning?
Maybe, maybe not. I wouldn't know.
Sweet and easy, huh? This case closed, forget all about it, and Roger goes walking around, free and easy.
Well, if that's how the decision does go, then you're right. We will forget about it. All of us, including you.
Malloy was murdered.
Maybe, maybe not. I wouldn't know.
Sheriff, what is the answer going to be?
Burke, I told you I'll probably get the answer sometime today. But no matter how it goes, accident or homicide, I'm warning you. Hands off.
And how do they get the sardine out of the boats?
By suction through a large tube. It's like a giant, you know, one of those giant vacuum cleaners.
I can't wait to see it.
Oh, you will, every bit of it.
It's funny your family should start with whales and end up with sardines.
Well, they've all contributed. They've all helped build that house on Widow's Hill.
And Bill Malloy. It must be very hard for you now that he's gone.
You mean in the cannery or personally?
Well, both. Actually, I was thinking about the cannery. You must have an awful lot of extra work now without any manager.
Yes, I miss Bill's help a lot. He was an extremely effective worker. Poor man.
I suppose I shouldn't have brought it up. I'm sorry. Tell me, how did the fishing boats know where to find the sardines?
Oh, luck and experience. You know, Vicky, I'm sure that you'll agree that the best thing that could happen to any of us would be if all these questions about Bill's death were completely answered and finished.
Of course.
The sheriff is now working on a report at this very moment to hand over to the coroner. It's based on all of his investigations.
Will that settle it?
Well, I hope so, provided he gets all the necessary information that he needs. If he does, I'm sure that the findings will prove that Bill's death was accidental due to drowning.
I don't think you'll be quite that lucky, Roger. Donuts and coffee, please.
What were we talking about?
Mr. Malloy,
No, before that. Oh, I know. How the fishing boats find out where the sardines are.
and you said it was by experience and luck.
Well, there's much more to it than that. It's really quite interesting, Vicky.
I'm sorry.
Occasionally, we hire planes to fly over the areas where there might be sardines. Then they radio back to us, and we tell the boats where the fish are.
Well, sardines don't stand a chance.
Well, Collins Cannery is not a sporting enterprise. It's a business, not a vendetta whose sole aim is destruction.
Roger, please don't.
Would you like some more coffee?
No, thank you.
I better make a phone call to the plant and tell them that I'll be a little late. Excuse me.
Playing hooky this morning, Vicky?
Roger, Mr. Collins was taking me to show me the cannery.
Oh, nice for you. They're really taking you into the family, aren't they?
I think it'll be very interesting.
Oh, it is. I have a special interest in the Collins canneries myself.
Burke, about the other night, I'm sorry.
Vicky, you don't have to apologize to me. You helped Roger out of a tight jam, that's all.
That's what I want to talk to you about.
Your guide is coming back. I'm afraid it's time for the next activity.
Where will you be later?
Well, if you really do want to talk to me, I'll be here, waiting.
Well, shall we go?
All right.
I'll be right here.
Vicky, please. I'm running a bit late and we have one other place to stop.
Come in. Oh, what can I do for you, Mr. Collins?
Well, is there anything I can do for you?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, I hope you don't mind my bringing Miss Winters along. I was taking her to the cannery to show her around. And then I had an idea that I might be able to add something to the report you're sending over to the coroner.
Well, can you?
Well, I don't know.
Well, we went over all the ground, it seemed to me.
Well, I suppose we did. I guess I really wanted Miss Winters to see what the inside of a sheriff's office looked like.
Well, you're getting the grand tour today, huh, Miss Winters?
It looks like it.
Well, this is it. Wanted posters, filing cabinet, desk, water cooler, coffee pot, and lots of paperwork, which I really should get done in the next couple of hours.
I think the sheriff wants us to leave.
Well, unless you do have something to add to the report.
Well, I'm not sure. And,
What?
well, we know that Bill died at 11:15. I assume that that is in the report.
Naturally.
And I assume you also have my statement to the effect that I didn't leave the house until 10 of 11, so I naturally couldn't have had anything to do with Bill's death.
Oh, I have that statement, yes.
I assume the report will list that statement as unsubstantiated, will it not?
Yes?
Well, supposing there was someone who could corroborate that, my alibi, so to speak, would that be of any help to you?
It would be a help to you, Mr. Collins.
Well, then, we are fortunate we happen to come this way, Vicky. You can help bring the sheriff's report up to date. You see, Miss Winters was on her way to bed when I left. I thought I forgot to mention it to you when we were speaking earlier.
You saw Mr. Collins leave the house?
Well, not exactly. I came downstairs to speak to him. We talked for a while. And then I went upstairs to go to bed. I heard him leave.
Well, what time did he leave the house?
Well, I can't say for sure. But I have every reason to believe that he left at 10 minutes of 11.
Well, now, there are quite a few qualifying words in that statement, Miss Winters.
I'm sorry, but I can't be any more accurate.
No, but it is a help, isn't it?
Yes, anything is a help, Mr. Collins.
Well, and it will go into the report.
Yes, it will.
Good. Well, fine. I guess we'd better run along now and let the sheriff get back to his work. I'm sorry to break into your day like this, George.
Not at all, Roger. Goodbye, Miss Winters.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Roger.
Goodbye. You really have a wonderful experience ahead of you now.
Thank you very much for showing me the cannery.
It was my pleasure.
I'm sorry I was late, Burke.
Ah, did you enjoy the tour?
It was very interesting.
Did Roger show you the place where they cut the heads off the fish?
I don't want to talk about the cannery. I want you to know that I'm not taking sides in this.
Look, the other night I went up to Collinwood to have it out with Roger. We went round and round about Bill Malloy's death. And then he brought you into the room. And you gave him a solid gold alibi.
I told the truth.
I think Roger killed Malloy. But if what you say is true, he couldn't have done it. And I am wrong. And I know I'm wrong.
If you'll remember, I said I wasn't sure.
Well, you were sure enough the other night to get him off the hook.
Burke.
Well, that's the way life is. Sometimes there's nothing to do but sit around and wait. Things even themselves out sooner or later.
I'm working in Collinwood for one reason, and you know what that is.
But don't you understand? If you're working there and you lose sight of what you are, trying to find out who you are, or who you think you are.
And what do you think I am?
You're a decent, honest girl. And a very attractive one, too.
Burke, Miss Winters.
Excuse me. Sheriff, did the report go in?
Yep. Oh, by the way, Miss Winters, you could tell Roger Collins for me that I included the bit of information you just gave me about the time he left the house.
You certainly do get around, don't you? Well, do you expect a finding today, Sheriff?
Well, the coroner will probably call me in for a little additional questioning, but, yeah, it'll probably be sometime today. Well, how about some of your good coffee?
Well, then I guess I have time to take you home.
Collinwood, you can't go back there.
Why not? Because they threw me out the other night? Look at me, I'm trembling. Come on.
You know something, Susie? There are two kinds of fools in this world. The ones who know they're making fools of themselves, and the ones who are sure they're not. It's the second kind that make the most trouble for me.
Burke, I really don't think you should be here.
How would you have gotten home? Walked?
I could have taken a taxi or
Yeah,
a bus.
what I don't understand is why Roger didn't see you home. After that favor you've done him, not once, but twice.
I have told you I had no idea we were going to the sheriff's office.
And you still think you can stay uninvolved, huh? Poor little governess. Poor little governess. The world's crashing in about her head, and she doesn't even know it.
If Mrs. Stoddard finds you here, she's going to be furious.
Who, me? An old and trusted member of the family?
Don't be an idiot.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm the only sane one in this mess, except maybe you. I'm not afraid of them. I never have been, and I never will be.
You didn't have to come up to the house.
I came back because I wanted to. And it won't be the last time, either. I'll be here again, Vicky. I'll be seeing you again. And maybe when the world does crash, I can manage to save a small piece for you to stand on. Say hello to Mrs. Stoddard for me.
Stay tuned for Where the Action Is next, here on ABC.